And I'll drag this over, and this is where I say good morning. Yeah, look at this. It's 6:31 a.m. on Wall Street, 3 hours before the open of trading. It's time to get your global macro on with QuantBox Live, where we uncover the best fundamental opportunities across the global markets. We use AI-driven data analysis so that we can organize our thoughts, aka our strategy, around sentiment, inflation, employment, GDP, technical analysis, open trade positions for retail and institutional investors, seasonality. We also create a basket for risk on, risk offness, looking at gold prices, yen prices, dollar prices, VIX, S&P 500, the yield on the 10-year, for example, all gets thrown into a risk on, risk off basket. And we track all of this in real time. We get all this data not from scraping the internet, but pulling it directly out of government sources, private databases. Yes, it costs money. Anyways, my name is Wayne McDonald. I'm the founder. I'm a Harvard educated economist, but that only took 5 or 6 years. I've been trading for 20. Before that, I was investing. I was a venture capitalist as well as a high tech entrepreneur. And here we are all these years later. And I keep asking, why are the markets moving? Why? And it comes down to the fundamentals. Always comes down to the fundamentals. Yes, we look at technical analysis, but as I say, we look at GDP and inflation and employment and interest rates. We look at seasonality. Oh my gourd. Even if you're colorblind, it's beautiful. So, anyways, if you're watching on YouTube, this video is delayed many hours. Why don't you join QuantBox and see if you like the database? It's not a website, it's a database. So you can actively manipulate the data. So, for example, when you pull up something like this, you can go click, 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 and everything moves. Burp, 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 burp. Yep. So it's an actual database. Anyways, cool. Let's get on with it. Let me remind you that trading is risky. It's not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term. Never risk money you cannot afford to lose. And yes, your $8 trial does include the macroeconomics course and the QuantBox training course, which is really just statistical analysis training. Very cool. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Logging into the Google Cloud. Mm-hmm. 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 Look how pretty this is. Oh my Lord. All right, look at that. Just amazing. 10-year T-note back to 4.3. Wow. You know, a big part of that move must be the Fed dumping those bonds they bought up. Remember all those bonds they bought up during quantitative easing? Now they're doing quantitative tightening and they're dumping $1 trillion worth of bonds. Meanwhile, the US government is issuing $1 trillion worth of bonds. Wait, what? Yeah. So the government and the central bank together are selling, because they're all sellers, $2 trillion worth of bonds. Maybe that's what's going on here. 2 trillion, a trillion here and a trillion there. Soon it adds up to real money. Now that's a funny joke, not really, but what's sad about that joke is it used to be billions. The joke used to be, well, a billion here, a billion there. Pretty soon it adds up to real money. Now it's trillions, right? So in the short run, the government's dumping $2 trillion worth of bonds on the market, some new, some old. Anyway, so that pushes up yield. That means prices are falling, yields are rising. 87 on my oh my WTI, we were tickling 90. Well, Brent hit 90. Gold still stuck at 19 and a half. SP 500, 4,000 and a half. Okay, we were tickling 4,500. Now we're still kind of there. Euro dollar kind of flat. Well, we were at 108. Now we're at 107. Bitcoin it was 25. Then it was 26. So it looks like there's not a lot to worry about. Now, looking at the scatter plot right away, you can see NASI is way risk off. Yeah, the funny thing about some of these indices is like, is NASDAQ down or is Apple down? Like, oh no, small rural government agencies in China are not allowed to buy iPhones anymore. Well, sell the stock. Well, all right. Well, if that's how you feel about your Apple stock, maybe you're not an owner. So anyways, yeah, so NASI's down because it's heavily weighted on some of these things. So, I mean, it's serious, but it may not be serious right? Okay, still mostly risk off in the longer term. Okay, but not, like not hugely, but solidly. These were -3 yesterday. Now they're -4. So slightly more risk off. One of the key things that we're looking at, and you might be saying, because in our discussion at Investor Boot Camp, by the way, Investor Boot Camp, that says Investor Boot Camp. One of the discussions we had yesterday is, why is the dollar strong? Yeah, it's a good thing to ask. And what might be the narrative in the markets right now? Let it load. Hang on, let it load. Okay, come on. It's a database, it's thinking. There we go. This is the future path of interest rates at the Fed. And there's a cut coming into the third quarter of next year. What's happening in the market is people are reconsidering and saying maybe no cut here. And they might be say no cut here. So there's one, like let's say September, October, and there's another one somewhere like November, December of 2024. And these dots are moving up. This data comes directly from the Fed themselves. This is not an opinion. This is not my guess. This is not my outlook. This is the Fed's outlook. And later this month, this gets updated, and this is what is being priced in right now. If people either had this same path, but usually what really happens is the market was doing this. They had the same, and then they had a cut and a cut and a cut. So this is sort of the path of investors. And now it's becoming more like what the Fed was saying. Or they're predicting that the Fed changes their path a little bit. So the market is adjusting based on late next year, 1 year from now. Okay. And that brings dollar strength because it pushes this up from -4.2 to probably 0 or on par with the Aussie. Okay. Japan not going to raise interest rates. Euro not giving us guidance. So anyway, so that's how you do that. Let's go into the scatter plot. Funny thing about a scatter plot is it organizes your brain. It unscatters your brain. They should rename it the unscatter plot because we look at this and look at this. What's the trend? Well, what we're looking for is we want it to look like that on average. This is really bad if it's sloped negative because that's very bearish. And this looks really scattered, doesn't it? And that means be careful. There's no trend. Some right? I mean, you might argue it's like this. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, yeah, I could see like there's almost two things going on here, right? There's a really bad trend here and a sort of a mediocre trend there. So I look at this and it seems to be like if you were to gather, the trend is kind of like this in general, like a little more down than up. I might be seeing I might be seeing that. So really, this catches the bulk of everything. So it's down. So it's a negative scatter plot, but it's very, very, very scattered. So the clarity here is meager. Not clear at all. It's opaque. The clarity is opaque. Um, be careful. Okay. Oil's down right now after a huge up. So again, most of the things over here might be buying opportunities. Maybe today we buy the Nasdaq. You're like, but it's way down. Well, we're trying to trade and invest, so we're using this to look for opportunities for the future. And all this says, everything over here has some sort of propensity to want to go up. So we have to decide if it's down now, if we're buyers of the dip. Everything up here has a propensity to want to go down, but they're currently up. So maybe we end up buying Swiss franc today or tomorrow. Swissie's weak, Swissie's weak, Swissie's weak, Swissie's weak. All right. But maybe it'll become strong. That's how we want to use this. Now, a couple of things I just want to point out technically, like let's go to no, let's go to the S&P 500. Okay. Neutral. Okay. But between somewhere in September, October, November turns up. So it's neutral, but we want to probably buy a dip or look to buy a dip. Maybe it's a real mixed bag. Okay. It's a mixed bag now. And I was on the S&P 500. Let me put this back. I mean, I'm going to show you the same thing on the S&P 500 though, but let's I guess I'll use this since I'm on it at the moment. So this was what I was doing this morning. I was thinking about buying pound yen and never got an opportunity. This is me on a 5-minute chart waiting to buy. I have this little pink, purplish area is just my support. I can't even fit it on a 5-minute chart. I have to go further back. And I know this looks like a mess. Hang on. That's pretty funny, actually. Uh, Let me try to clean some of this up. Shows you my longer term target. I guess I can leave that there. This was an older support. I guess I can clean that up. I'll delete these. Okay, we're through it. Never had an opportunity. Okay, are we at support? Yeah, yeah, yep, yep, yep. Were we at support 2 hours ago? Yeah, we're at it again. And I think there might be some upcoming. It's not very good. This is not a great opportunity, as you can see. Over the last 3 weeks, it's slightly down. But nonetheless, I'm looking forward to up. How do I play it? Patient and disciplined. So here I drill all the way down to a 5 minute chart, and then I zoom in, zoom, zoom, zoom. And I'm like, oh, yeah, we're on a purple line. So I'm waiting for the 21 to cross above the 55. And then I have permission to start buying dips. Sort of like over in the other area, I had permission if I was a bear to sell the rallies or rips, if you will. And so it was bearish, 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 still bearish. And the probability is still this. But I want to go up here. So I wait and I wait and I wait and I wait. Okay. Ooh, I had a little opportunity over here on CAD yen. Ooh. I think I'm risking a whopping 10 pips that, on that entry. You can see it to the left here. Anyways, yeah, a whopping 10 pips. I guess it should be a little lower, but whatever. I can't do it while I'm coaching. All right, so let's go back to that S&P 500. Should we do it here? Yeah, I guess we'll do it here. And same thing, different chart, same idea. I'm just sort of waiting. I'm looking at levels of support and resistance, and I'm only on a 5 minute chart, but I'm waiting. I could have actually bought this, but this is a weird one. You see how we made a lower oops. You see how we made a lower low and then we made a higher high. Now we're down again. Maybe that you remember the scatter plot all over the place. QuantBox is like, well, it's kind of mediocre, this S&P 500. Yeah, well, you see it when you have that, when you're trading mediocrity, you do get things like lower lows followed by higher highs, followed by a collapse. You're like, everybody loses money in that scenario, right? Bears would have been very bearish. They would have sold here because of the lower low, and then it went high and probably took a scalper out because it made a higher high. So then a bull probably tried to buy this, and then it dropped and is now taking them out. And scalpers are getting scalped. Scalper, no scalping. Yeah, you have to have kids to understand that joke. But anyways, Dora the Explorer. Hmm. So, anyways, sitting and waiting, waiting and sitting very slowly, not losing money. Well, actually, in the longer run, I'm losing money, but I'm hedged, so I'm okay. And let's actually, I want to show you a couple of things that look interesting that I've been eyeballing. If you don't mind, sort of a food for thought exercise. Uh, Never got an entry on this, and but now we got some action going. This is Mexican peso. You only want to be short because of the carry trade. And so what we're looking for at some point is we regroup and head back down. Yeah, it went a little higher. I get it. And really, what should happen is something like this because it's a breakout. The thing is, nobody on the planet wants that. Nobody wants that. You could talk to 1,000 traders, and they're like, they all want they want this to fall. So I think there's just people waiting for an excuse to get back in. Nobody wants this to go up. So the dollar's strong for now, but really nobody actually wants the dollar to be strong. Everyone wants it to be weak. So maybe something's happening, right? Maybe. So let's change the template here and do like monthly. Let's just do monthly. And then I zoom in. And you see the reason? We're at the projected high. Excuse me. We're at the projected high for the month of September. You're like, but Wayne, we're in the first week. What does that have to do with anything? Well, actually, it increases the potential for a counter trend trade because everyone's made their money already too quickly. And people are going to want to take profit, especially if they get stopped out. So imagine there's a bunch of stops right there. Let me redraw this. Let's say there's a lot of stops right here below the previous day. So we're going to kind of do this for a while maybe, and if we go through there, there's going to be a lot of stops because people are just trailing their stop below yesterday's low. Not today's low, yesterday's low. Really simple way to do it. Um, so if that occurs, then we're probably on our way back to here. But my spidey senses are tingling that we end up actually falling forever. That's how you want to handle a carry trade, by the way. You could sell it here, and a counter trend trader targets this. A position trader targets what we call a full Monty. A carry trader sells and never looks back. They move their stop, they put their stop up here, let's say, and then at some point you get something like this. So you move your stop to break even and you walk away. You hope you're on this sucker for years. You want to put it in your will. Okay. Okay. And I've been saying that since we were here and here and here and here and here. This massive drop, oops, this massive drop is incredible. And the income you earn on this is extraordinary. So here we are somewhere when we're looking at the weekly, I don't know. We had a big 2-week rally here at the beginning of the year and then it fell. And now we've had a 2 or 3 week rally. We're back into these moving averages. And so if or when it falls again, well, it could be 6 months. Okay. Another way of looking at it is calculating your own seasonality. We're trying to figure out, is it going to fall September, October, November, December? Here's what it did last time. There's some up and, well, a little later than that. Some up, some down. And that's to the end of the year. If you go back to 2021, it was up and then down. Yeah. You go earlier here, right? It was down. So going back in time, we're constructing our own seasonality. So will it fall after this big rally? Well, last year it did. The year before was sort of mixed. And the year before it did. So let's give it a 1. Let's give it a 0.5. Let's give it a 1. Now, all you have to do is go back 20 years and calculate your own, and you'll get what QuantBox tells you. Or you could just have QuantBox do it. Oh, Brian's in the house. Good morning. Hey, Brian, I was thinking about this CIA meeting that I'm doing in Tennessee, in Nashville. Nashville. I was thinking I should do a party for anyone that wants to come, not just CIA members. What do you think of that? I know it's only a couple of hours for you to drive. Be cool. I think we should just have a big party too. Yeah, because I contacted the hotel and I'm like, I want to do something special for 10 people. And they're like, there's nothing special about 10 people. I'm like, well, you didn't meet these 10 people. These 10 people are special. And they're like, "Yeah, not to us." They're like, we don't want to do anything for you unless you have, 16 people. So I'm like, oh, we need to have a bigger party. So, anyways, we need to get 25 people together, right? Brian's like, yeah, Nashville's the number one destination for bachelorette parties, especially teenage ones. Oh, sorry, Tennessee joke. Sorry. They combine the bachelorette with the high school graduation party. Yeah, yeah. Anyways, sorry if you're Southern. It's just too funny. Honky tonk. Yeah, Jim would be there for that. So I think that's what we're going to do. Um, it'll be the night of, I think December 13th is the night. So at 5 o'clock, I'm planning that the CIA has done their board meeting. And then we come out and there's a cocktail party and there's already people waiting. And we'll do a big group photo, right? And we'll have a few cocktails and then I'll reserve a private room for a fabulous steak dinner with Wagyu steak and tomahawk chops and all that kind of stuff. Cool. Yeah. So, anyways, just thinking out loud. But I'm in contact with the hotel, and that's if they right. I hate the idea of not being special. So we have to be special. So we need more people. All right. So anyways, so peso, I might want to do the same thing. Drop into a fiver and look for, oh my God, we already have a 21.55 cross down. Uh-huh. Remember on the S&P 500 and on the pound yen, I've been waiting and waiting and waiting. Um, and remember, I've already anticipated in this red zone that this sucker's going to fall and turn bearish. And technically, it did already. So, what I can look to do throughout the rest of the day is find opportunities to get short. Sure know what I'm talking about? Oh, faux show. So, yeah. So, anyways, there's some technical analysis for you. Yeah. Yep. Anyways, that's that. That's that. That's how it is. That's what I'm looking at. That's the world according to quantitative analysis. Today is Thursday, so we have weekly jobless claims. Oh my, really? Yeah. So that's going to be the news for the morning. There's some other stuff going on, of course, but really everything points to the next Fed meeting. So I'll leave you to it. And it's weird because I probably will see you next on forex.today. Unless you're watching this video on YouTube now, then we've already had forex.today. So you're doing everything backwards. Swing on by QuantBox and at least do the trial. Check it out, quantbox.co, everybody. And for people that are attending live, thank you for being a subscriber. Peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May our profits be above average. Oh, and if you're a member of Investor Bootcamp, today is swing trading day. So I'll see you at 4 p.m. to set up next week's trades. Next week. You're like, what? Next week? How can it be next week already? Well, that's how you plan ahead, huh? Oh, yeah. So, peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May our profits be above average. Ciao. Ciao.